That's right. What's me? All right. All right. Our next speaker is going to be Bobby Powell, and on deck is Marge Conello. Marge Conello, if you go to that back mic, and Ms. Powell, good evening, if you give your name and address. Thank you.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Barbara Powell. I'm a longtime resident of the village of Hempstead and a community leader. I reside at 120 St. Paul's Road North in Hempstead. The 72 acres around the Nassau Coliseum sit at the heart of one of the most diverse and vibrant communities in New York State, and yet they remain empty. That's not just a missed opportunity, it's a reflection of broader failures in imagination, policy, and equity. The current zoning no longer reflects where we're headed, it reflects the decisions of the past. And too often those decisions have left communities like mine on the outside looking in. We can't afford to let that continue. Updating the zoning isn't about rushing into a development. It's about setting the groundwork for a better future, one that opens the doors to jobs, resources, culture, and community-based growth. Our neighborhoods deserve the chance to benefit from what's built here. Let's stop delaying progress. Let's unlock the potential of the hub. So I urge you to support zoning that reflects the needs and the future of this community. I also have something else that I would like to share. Garden City folks, you fought against the third track. You fight against everything and everything that could help the community other than your own. And it's the definition of true privilege. So please, we need to do something with that Coliseum area. It's a travesty right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. I have, folks, I said everybody gets an opportunity to speak. Let's look courtesy towards everybody on it. It'll be a much more pleasant evening. I know I have Marge Conello speaking, and I'm going to have Christopher McNiff on deck. Ms. Conello, if you give your name and address, thank you.
Hi, good evening, Honorable Board. My name is Marge Conello. I reside in Belmore for 41 years. I am also the president of the Central Belmore Homeowners Association, and I've been here many times before. I, like many of the other people here, have been closely following this proposal, and I proudly stand with the Stop the Casino organization, who have done an extraordinary job in organizing and mobilizing the opposition. I won't beleaguer the board and reiterate all the valid points that have already been delivered. However, as I was listening to the presentations, particularly the traffic presentation, I couldn't help but think how ridiculous this all is, that all these changes are necessary to accommodate a casino, not a major hospital that helps sick people, but a place where people will go to sometimes win money, but more oftentimes lose it. It all seems so ridiculous and a waste of money and resources. I do want to ask Mr. Clavin a question. Is this the legacy that you want to leave the town of Hempstead with when you step away from your supervisor position? Research shows and is categorically undisputed that casinos do not make neighborhoods and communities great, but rather long-term a casino will do quite the opposite. Is Atlantic City the vision you had for the town of Hempstead? It's not a dispute that union jobs to build would be great, but that is short-term and very short-sighted. When the high-paid construction jobs leave, what will be left is minimum wage jobs and workers that cannot afford to live here. Again, is that what we want for our great town? There's no need to consider this rezoning at this juncture as it is wholly premature and being driven to save face on a deal that is rapidly falling apart. The Sands has pulled out, and today Steve Cohen's bid and plans have moved forward to only one vote away from being final. The state paperwork is due on June 27th. There is no casino to put paperwork in for the Coliseum. Therefore, no license will be issued. Then why are you considering a rezoning for something that is not happening anytime soon? There is plenty of time to go back to the drawing board and consider other more viable options. We can all agree that a trip to Queens is not a hardship if a casino visit is your desire, whereas a trip to Hempstead Turnpike to shop, dine, or even visit our beautiful park would be if a casino were allowed to be built. Over the past several years, the town of Hempstead has taken on the phrase, "Save our suburbs." I've gotten many beautiful glossy flyers saying that, and now is your chance to actually do it. I ask my councilman, Mr. Schneider, to vote no on this proposal, as well as the board in its entirety.
Thank you, Ms. Congello. Next I have Christopher McNiff and Bruce Chester's on deck.
Yes, my name is Christopher McNiff. I live at 85 Corey Lane, East Meadow. I'm about 3.5 miles from the Coliseum site. I've lived over there 9 years, and I lived in Levittown for 10 years prior to that. Born and raised in Nassau County, raised my family right here. My children's school is 3.5 miles from the Coliseum. I don't have any issue with anything that's been proposed for there. Everybody's talking about gambling addiction. It's right here in everybody's phone from 6th grade on up. It's in every card store and 7-Eleven in the community. So to say that this is going to increase addiction is ridiculous. You have Jake's 58 out east. They had the same complaints about it. Jake's 58 is now going up another 5 stories because they did not have any of these issues that everybody brought up. Now, years ago, Charles Wang had a great plan there that he was going to pay for himself. And it got shot down over an issue of water, which I heard again. Okay? Well, I don't see anybody complaining in Garden City about the chemicals that they're dumping on the golf course with the water that goes into the aquifer, or from Eisenhower Park Golf Course or any other golf courses that are there. So you can take that and throw it out the window, because when it's in your backyard and it makes your lawn nicer, and everybody's lawn has this junk going in the ground too. So don't say, because these guys have great minds and engineers. If you listen to what they said, they put together incredible mitigations. I say vote yes. Thank you.
Steve, I got Bruce Chester, and I have Julie Berger's going to be on deck. Mr. Chester?
Good evening, Supervisor Clavin and the Town Board of Hempstead. Bruce Chester, 220 Kensington Road in Garden City. Despite the insurances from the law firm of Greenberg, Turg, and our friends at H2M and the project manager, this project will cause major disruption to the communities of Hempstead, Uniondale, Mineola, Carr Place, Westbury, and Garden City. The strain on our fire departments and our infrastructure will be unprecedented. I think you need to rethink this thing with the expanding parking lots and everything else that go along with it. The amount of traffic and everything else that would go along would be unbelievable. I've spoken before the county legislature 3 times, and I pleaded with them, and I plead with you. There are other options we can look at. Jake's 58 and Aqueduct, the surrounding areas have been adversely affected despite what has been said. I would suggest to all of you, look at another option, not go with a casino. There's other things we can do with this area. And yes, it has been, and it should be more utilized, but not with a casino. And I would ask Supervisor Clavin, who's a fellow Garden City resident, and our councilman, longtime friend Todd Muscarella, to oppose this project. We're not doing this out of privilege. We fought the third track because it disrupted the area unbelievably, and frankly still does. And the same will be said for this. We're not a small group. We've utilized to fight this casino. We will continue to do so. So again, I plead with all of you to vote against changing the zone for a casino. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chester. I have Ms. Berger and I have Steve Barrettz on deck, please. Good evening, ma'am. If you give your name and address, thank you.
Julie Berger, 195 Norman Drive, East Meadow. I am not for this casino. To my fellow union people, I am an 1199 healthcare union member. It's not that we don't want you to have jobs. We just want something built that does not destroy our community, our civilization, with excessive traffic, crime, DWIs, air pollution, deplete our drinking water supply, leading to gambling addiction, etc. We all know our argument. We want you to have jobs. Mr. Klavan, we have been meeting about this for 2 years now, and I learned from another speaker here that it's been 3 years. Okay, but I didn't know about it for 3 years. But we've been meeting about this for 2 years now, and it amazes and disappoints me that many Nassau County residents still don't know about it. Why? Because you have kept it a secret from the taxpayers. When I asked my own legislator, Tom McKevitt, to hold meetings about this in the East Meadow Library, he said to me, "Oh, it's very expensive to send out a mailing." Well, I finally threw out all of his mailings, numerous mailings, that he has sent out on many other issues. But this was not a priority to him, even though we are East Meadow. It was not a priority to him for his East Meadow constituents. Why is that? Something is not kosher here. There is no and has been no transparency on this. The first meeting I heard about and attended, I learned from a text that I received from an unknown sender. Imagine how shocked I was to see all of these construction union members there that night with Sands shirts on. I was blown away. Also, why is Sands' replacement a secret? Obviously, as Monica says, you all know what's going on, but you're just keeping it from us. To all of you folks on the dais, as well as former Governor David Patterson, who left a few minutes ago. Where is he? Right in front of me. Thank you. Mr. Patterson, how have you benefited from this? We know Sands gave tons of money to numerous towns, organizations to promote this project. How about you? What did you receive from the Sands? Moving forward, how about something less offensive and more uniting to all? Because obviously we are terribly divided on this. This idea has divided numerous people, communities, and the negativity outweighs everything. How about putting in solar green energy hub? How about, better yet, pickleball courts making every generation happy? Finally, Mr. Klavan, you have been working with and for your constituents for many years now. What legacy do you want us to remember you by? You want to be the supervisor who saved Nassau County or the one who sold out and destroyed our great community? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Berger. Thank you, Ms. Berger. Steve Barrettz I have, and I'm going to have Claudia Long on deck, please.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Barrettz. I'm a Long Island business owner and a proud advocate for small business and economic growth here in our community. I'm here tonight to express my support for the proposed rezoning of the Nassau Coliseum site. As someone who has spent more than 30 years building my own business and supporting other businesses on Long Island, I can tell you firsthand, real opportunities for transformative growth like this don't come often. We have 72 acres of centrally located, highly valuable land just sitting there and essentially unused, not because of a lack of interest, but because our zoning hasn't caught up with our future. This is the single greatest opportunity Nassau County has to generate new jobs, attract new investment, and create a destination that truly serves our residents. Right now, that potential is locked away by outdated zoning codes that no longer reflect what our communities need to thrive. It reflects the politics of the past and not the needs of Nassau County today. Let's be crystal clear about this. This is not just about big development. This is not about a single developer or one specific plan. This is about small business survival. I want you to imagine what a vibrant, thoughtfully designed resort and entertainment district with hotels, dining, and live venues would mean to generate more local customers, more local foot traffic, and more local spending at the shops, restaurants, and service businesses that are the backbone of our local economy. When we create a place that people want to visit, a place to stay, to eat, to enjoy year-round entertainment, we don't just boost tourism, we strengthen our local economy. We keep Long Island dollars on Long Island, and it retains the kind of sustainable energy that our small businesses depend upon. We also begin to reverse the brain drain that's affecting our region. Our younger generation is leaving the place with more energy, more opportunity, and more to do. Let's give them a reason to stay. Let's give families a place they can be proud of, a place that reflects the kind of future that we all want. And let's not forget, updating the zoning doesn't mean approving a final blueprint. It simply gives Nassau County the flexibility to explore meaningful, community-driven possibilities for the site. It unlocks potential, and it creates future-focused framework. The site has been an empty promise in the middle of our county for too long. The time for excuses has passed. It's time for vision, for bold steps, and for policies that reflect today's reality and tomorrow's potential. Let's move forward. Let's stop letting this site fester and start treating it like the asset that it truly is. Let's rezone the site, and let's finally build something that works for residents, for small businesses, and for the future of Nassau County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next I have Ms. Long, and on deck I'm going to have Elizabeth Sanchez Vaughn.
Good evening to our leaders at the table there. I grew up in Belmore, in the town of Hempstead, and I always looked up to the town of Hempstead. And growing up here, I have seen a lot of development in Nassau County. But one thing that I know, and I have read many times, is that Nassau County, across the United States, is the number one community of suburb and houses that people can live in with their families, parks around. It's different from the city. People worked in the city, they came out here so they can raise their children and have some space. That's what it is. Now we're gonna change our county into a hub for gambling. Gambling does not promote goodness, period. It's already been mentioned. Sex, alcohol, drugs, pornography. It's on the phone. All this has been said. The traffic, the environment, the natural environment. We have 700,000 people that over that population in Nassau County. How many know about this project? Everywhere I go, I've never heard of that. Oh, I'm glad you told me. Why aren't we informed? If you really are leaders, you inform us. This is democracy. The people help you and you make good decisions on behalf of the people. So I bring that out. We already have a lot of crimes. I have to say, for me to come into the town of Hempstead, it's so much traffic here. There's so much going on. It's not always safe to just go about freely. There's a lot of crime here, etc. Traffic, our schools, colleges, and universities. Why are we exposing something so close to them? It'll affect the universities and the school to know that a casino is right there. Anywhere I've been, seeing casinos, like in Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, the whole area is different. It's dead. You're going to destroy your community with the casino. I've seen it. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and gambling is a sin, and it leads to destruction.
Thank you, Mrs. Long. I appreciate it.
I say no.
Elizabeth Sanchez Vaughn, and I'm going to have on deck Lucy Meyer, please. Okay, is Miss Meyer here? Okay, I'm going to have Lucy Meyer, and then on the on deck, I'm going to have John Boyd, please. Good evening, name and address, thank you.
I need my glasses for the clock. Okay. Hi, my name is Lucy Meyer. I live in Huntington. Why am I here? Because for 63 years, I lived in Nassau County, town of Hempstead. I was born in the the mid-50s, not the early 50s. I grew up in Levittown. I remember when town of Hempstead was a hotbed of activity. It was the shopping hub. I literally remember getting my first pair of patent leather shoes in Hempstead. As a teenager, we had the Calderon Theater in Uniondale. It was a vibrant community. When I was of age, we used to go into Hempstead again. There were a lot of bars for age-appropriate students from Hofstra. It was a different community. It was vibrant. There was shopping. There were kids out. It was safe. It was a totally different world. I've chosen to stay in Long Island. My 2 grown sons have chosen to stay in Long Island, and I now have 2 magnificently gorgeous grandchildren who are being raised on Long Island, and my sons also work here. But the world has changed. I've lived through riots. I've lived through economic times. I've lived through floods and the hurricanes in Long Beach. The world has changed, and we must change with it. I don't envy your situation. I totally respect and I feel for it. This is a very emotional topic. Being loud doesn't make you right. I am for the development, which includes the casino. It's not about slot machines. It's about, am I shouting? Okay. It's about the opportunity for the future. The world has changed and we have to change with it. The town is not the same. The area is not the same. The Coliseum that I grew up with is not the same. So we have to change accordingly, and it's up to you to make a level-headed decision based on what could be. There's no pleasing everyone in life. That is a fact. But you have to say what benefits most people and the economy and the future versus the few people who may disagree. It's a very tough decision. I see this investment as, first of all, they're investing billions of dollars. They're not just opening a casino here. It's going to be a world-class spa, entertainment, live venue, restaurants. People now go to the city. It's going to bring a lot more life back here, and also jobs, not just for professional and trades. People who don't have trades, they'll be able to learn them. So I am for it, and I implore you to please consider what could be and what should be when you think of the zoning. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have John Boyd, and I'm going to ask Jacqueline Chartulus. You're on deck, please. Mr. Boyd, if you give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Good evening, Supervisor, Deputy Supervisor, and the town board members. My name is Mr. Boyd, and I'm a very proud United States veteran. And I bring that to your attention because when I was a young man at the age of 18, I was able to actually make a decision to sign my name on a dotted line to help protect the freedom of this country. And I went in as a enlisted man, and in the span of 4 years, I was able to ascend to the rank of staff sergeant. And the reason I say that is because I hear a lot of people complaining about the universities and the colleges and so on and so forth, but it becomes a personal choice because these young people can make good, sound decisions that will benefit them, and then some don't. But to tell people that they shouldn't have it because you feel that it's going to hurt the children, I don't buy that, because I was a child and I became a man and I'm still serving in this country today. So that being said, the Nassau County Coliseum is a property that is one of the most important pieces of real estate in our county. But right now it's just sitting there, generating nothing. No jobs, no activity, no hope. That's a huge missed opportunity for our family in our region. As a veteran, I know what it means to serve, and I also know what it means to fight for progress. And this is one of those moments where we have to push forward and approve this rezoning. Smart, modern rezoning is the key and is the first steps in turning this empty space into a job-producing engine and a magnet for growth. The potential is here, enormous. Just think, a resort, hotel, live entertainments, dining. I don't have to go to Atlantic City. All right here at my home. And that's how I think we should build for the future. So I highly recommend that the town approve this rezoning for this, because there are people out here that would like to be able to have their choices respected. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Boyd. Next, I have Jacqueline Chartulus. Jacqueline Chartulus, okay. James Nugeni. James Nugeni. Okay. Grant Newberger. Grant Newberger. Okay. Ken Morano. Ken Morano. Okay. Nicole Grodner. Nicole Grodner. Okay. Michael Ahrens. Okay. Thank you. Susan Topkin. Susan Topman. All right. Tom Titman. All right, Mr. Titman, if you come to the mic. And is Pat Merrill here? Pat Merrill? Okay. How about Stephen Spurgeon? You're on deck, Mr. Spurgeon. Good evening, sir. If you give your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Sure. Tom Titman. I live on New York Avenue across from George Washington Elementary School in West Hempstead. In my last appearance, I spoke about the damage that was done by gambling to one of my sisters. I'm one of 7. She lost her marriage, and her children and herself, they grew up without a presence of a father. Also, children have been an important part of my volunteer work, both able and disabled children. So I have a real focus on the effect on youth of gambling environment. Tonight I want to use my 2-minute, to draw the attention to the last-minute changing of the rules, and also without properly notifying us, those who have elected you. Mr. Clavin and the other members of the board, thank you for your service.
Thanks, sir.
We're tired and bored of the sleight of hand board game maneuvers, like changing the casino rules, the zoning rules in mid-game without proper notification. For example, for instance, you're not complying with New York State's open meeting law. Hofstra University's leadership has been saying this since the beginning. How about playing according to Hoyle? For example, this would be Exhibit A, 5 aces, not a fair hand. Here's a straight of hearts, a fair hand. That's what we want to be treated with, a fair hand. Our town is not like a Monopoly game. We, the people, have a say. As Grace Slick sings in White Rabbit, so consider us the men and women on the chessboard who are getting up and telling you where to go with this plan to rezone. Back to the gaming tables. Years ago, a master card player named Cuthbert J. Twilley, a.k.a. W.C. Fields, delivered a famous line that applies here. In my little chickadee, He's sitting at the card table and asked by the other gambler, "Is this a game of choice?" He replies slyly, "Not the way I play it." Say no to the casino and all our allies. Say it like this: when you ask us, "Is this a game of choice or of chance?" we reply, "No, not the way we play it." Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tippman. I have Stephen Spurgeon, and is Anthony Mafia still here? Great, you're on deck, Mr. Mafia. Thank you very much. Please, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Steve Spurgeon. I'm a lifelong resident of Long Island and also currently in Deer Park. I own an organization of businesses on Long Island that represent 30 companies and several thousand workers. And I just want to mention that we have an opportunity to have approximately 8,000 jobs to put up this complex, bringing in revenue to Nassau County in the hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue. Once it's complete, we're going to have another 8,000 jobs permanent. And I've heard a lot about Hofstra opposing this, but no one's mentioned that Nassau Community College is well in favor of this. They want their students to do internships there. They want their adjunct professors to actually get jobs there. All right? So it's not that everybody is opposed to this. We certainly have plenty of people who are well in favor of this. And just to mention about being opposed to something, as a lifelong resident, I've seen them oppose the expansion of Roosevelt Field. I've seen them oppose the Fortunoff Mall being built. I've seen them oppose Meadowbrook Point being built. There's always someone who's going to complain about something, and it's always doom and gloom. It's always disaster. But yet Nassau County has survived and grown and thrived thanks to all the great people who live here and work here. And I think that we should definitely rezone. We should do the best we can to get this thing built and not be here another 2 years from now debating over this over and over again. One final point, and that goes to the gambling. At this point, a lot of people are living in the past. If you want to gamble, all you have to do is take out your phone. I can play cards on the phone. I could gamble on the phone. I could place a bet on a sports team on the phone. I don't need to go to a casino. Casino is more for entertainment at this point. It's not strictly for gambling, because anybody could gamble any place they want to. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I have Mr. Mafia, and then is Kerry Goldberg still here? Kerry Goldberg? Okay. Delvin Williams? Delvin Williams? Brendan Lang? Brendan Lang? Please, you go, sir.
Okay, my name is Anthony Mafia, and I'm a resident of Westbury. I lived in Queens for over 50 years, and when the casino came to Aqueduct, everybody thought that was going to be a disaster. There's no crime there. The nonsense that I hear that people say over here is unbelievable. First of all, casinos kill people. It's really, I mean, it's this outrageous of what they're saying. Okay, everybody wants. Where is the revenue going to come from? Okay, everybody wants their hand. They want to put their hand out. They want to help people. Yes, you could help people. You could do a lot of things. It's all about the money also. People say it's not about the money. Yes, it is about the money. And when they understand that, I'm not white privilege. I came from a poor family, but yet I became a construction worker. I was an engineer, and I took myself out of it, okay? And it's just the things that people say, it's crazy, Yeah, it's going to bring revenue. It's going to bring jobs. It's going to bring permanent jobs. And that's where the money is going to come from. It's not greed. That's where the money is going to come from. So, I mean, they should give this a chance. Give it a chance. That thing has been sitting there for years and years. You got to give it a chance. So that's all I got to say. I mean, you just got to give it a chance. And thank you very much for letting me speak. And thank you for being up here listening. So vote yes on it.
Thank you very much. Now I have Jerry Rivers, but Jerry indicated he did not want to speak. I've Ms. Meriday. Please come up to the podium. And then the next person I've indicated that would like to speak was David Turkimer. Mr. Turkimer, are you here? Okay, great. You're on deck. Thank you very much. Good evening. If you give your name and address for the record, thank you. Bless you.
Meter J Medri, third generation resident of town of Hempstead, Nassau County. I'm wondering if security is already getting ready to put me out. I appreciate that. But I'm ready. Just in case. It's rare that so many people are here because, you know, when the discussion was on the, $2.9 billion budget for the town of Hempstead, it was crickets in the room. When Nassau County had its $4.4 billion budget, crickets in the room. When Bruce Blakeman gave his one idea at the State of the State at the Long Island Association, and his brainstorm was the casino, after he had broken his one campaign promise about the property taxes. And now we stand here. And for those who can't really see, clearly, or maybe not, I'm not white privilege either. Don't live in Garden City. I was born and raised in Roosevelt. Proud second generation graduate of Hofstra University, second generation. I stand on the format of this building that was laid, the concrete was laid by my relatives who couldn't be a part of a union. So, where do I go with this? 701,000 gallons of sewage, along with the 100,000 plus veterans on Long Island, are all going downriver, or I should say downstream, because I live in what should be known now as Sinkhole City, Baldwin. You talk about Cedar Creek Park. They have to build a diversion along Sunrise Highway to get to Bay Park for the level of affluent that we already have. Where do you think that's going? When those talked about these studies that were built, that were shared earlier, I laughed when the gentleman said some reference about pristine water. We haven't had pristine water in decades. The Grumman plume is arising under that property. Very few references to our veterans who are dying daily, 44 a day. Our police officers are dying. Nassau County doubles the DUI rate in the state of New York at 45%. State rate is 25%. So I'm saying no to a casino. Never would say no to development, to bringing jobs. But the average casino salary is $30,000 in New York State. Let's get back to the drawing board. Make it legal, because we can't keep paying all these attorneys. Nassau County's already billing at $2,000 an hour for its attorney.
Thank you, Ms.
We can do better.
Thank you very much, as always. I have Mr. Turkimer, and then is Lark Logan here? Lark Logan? Okay. How you doing? You're going to speak up. You're on deck, all right? Please, sir.
Good evening. I'm David Turkimer. I live at 2230 2nd Street in East Meadow. And I grew up in Wantagh. And I've been going to Coliseum since it first opened. And the travesty here, and what upsets me a lot, a couple things, is number one, what happened to Charles Wong? Oh, that was Town of Hempstead Republican Party. Dropped the ball. And anybody that was close to it when I was, that was disgusting. Now you're trying to stuff a casino down our throat when the majority of the residents don't want it. A lot of people have opinions, and I respect their opinions. But how many people from the community, East Meadow, Uniondale, Hempstead, have come up and said, you know what? They should do something. Rezoning's not the result. And the other thing is, what about total transparency? Mr. Clavin, why can't you tell us who is the other person getting involved? Who's coming in to open it? Sir? Mr. Clavin?
Yes, sir, I'm listening to you.
Can you enlighten us? Why is there no transparency in this? Why do we not know who that is?
That would be something for the applicant to respond to.
We don't know who the applicant is. So, okay, you answered the question. Thank you very much. The other aspect is the traffic. What about those that are coming from Seaford Oyster Bay with commercial trucks? They're not going to come from across Island on Hempstead Turnpike. What about those exiting on Wanto Parkway? Right now, on any given morning, evening, or weekend, you cannot get down the turnpike without having a good 20-minute ride from the medical center down to the Wanto Parkway. On the weekends, that can take a significant amount of time. There's no impact on that side of it, just on the west side, not on the east side. The tax dollars, where are they going to go? Are they going to lower my taxes? Are they going to just keep them steady? Or are they going to raise them, as the town of Hempstead has done, and Nassau County has done, over the years? What about our home values? Look what happened in Atlantic City. Someone made that reference before. The community around AC is poverty-stricken. What are you going to do to us with our homes that are now doing well? It's going to happen when they cut them in half because we're around the corner from a casino. I don't understand where the brilliant minds we're supposed to have in politics and in management, as you guys are, coming up with these ideas. Have you gone to the communities and asked them? No. Do a lot of people know about this? No. There has been no transparency. And this meeting, I found out because someone told me about it. Because that was not published in the papers. It wasn't Newsday. It wasn't on the news. How come? Ladies and gentlemen, how come? Am I supposed to pay my taxes and shut my mouth, be a good little boy and go home? I don't think so. You're putting something in our community that all the residents don't want. And the negative impact is huge. And if it goes through, it's going to be another example of the Republican machine in Nassau County, and that would be horrific. As far as developmenting, it's got to be developed, but not with these changes. What are you going to do to our community? Nobody cares. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turk. I have Lark Logan ready, and is Keontae Butler here? Keontae Butler? Okay. William Morgan? You're on deck, Mr. Morgan. Hi, Ms. Lark. If you give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lark Logan, 1061 Northgate Court, Uniondale. I also have a condo in the Boston area, and so I'm going to speak from a Boston experience involving the Wynn organization from Las Vegas. They went through the same thing in order to build the Encore Boston Harbor Hotel and Casino in Everett, Massachusetts, and in the Malden area. These were depressed areas. This was about 10 years ago. I spend my time between Uniondale and Boston. People were up in arms saying, oh, gambling this, it's going to cause traffic. Wynn came in, they cleared up the pollution in the Mystic River. They helped with rerouting traffic. Boston traffic is notoriously horrendous. Everything has just been a little easier in terms of this casino. Property values escalated. I'm a realtor in Massachusetts. Property values escalated in these depressed areas of Everett and Malden tremendously since this casino and entertainment space has opened. Now, I also have this residence at 1061 Northgate Court. I'm looking forward to it. I'm like hope for the hub, yes. Not only for the casino, but for an entertainment space to bring live entertainment. Why should I have to go into the city all the time or deal with a parking situation at USB Arena when it could be right here? Chef-owned restaurants, local businesses will benefit by this, but property values, and I have seen this in my real estate practice with Malden and Everett. If you didn't buy in those two areas before this Boston Encore Boston Harbor opened, you can't buy in there now. So I'm just saying, I would expect our property values to go up. And we're not Atlantic City because there are not 100 casinos next to each other. This is one property with a lot of entertainment and restaurant availability being built around it. I'd like to see it happen. So I'm hoping it will happen, and I respect everyone's opinions, but it's time to move forward. It's time to make use of this space that's just been sitting there collecting dust. So let's move forward and give Long Island the energy that it really should have. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Logan. Now I have William Moran. Hold on, William. And is Marianne Moran here? Nope, hold on. Ms. Harrington spoke. Deborah Zazo? You're going to be on deck, Ms. Zazo. Ms. Moran, if you give your name and address for the record, thank you, sir.
My name is William Morgan, 105 Wickham Road in Garden City. I'm a class of 24 graduate. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I urge you not to rezone in the accommodation of a casino project. There's so much to talk about revenue, but too little about the human cost. Online gambling is an epidemic amongst people my age. The 2018 legalization of online sports betting has led to 10% of all young men in America exhibiting signs of gambling addiction. These numbers are far too high. Celebrities appear in ads constantly during sports on TV. They make gambling look cool with giant flames and exotic animals, flashy displays. But gambling's not cool. According to the WHO, gambling addiction leads to financial stress, relationship breakdowns, and even domestic violence and suicide. In my own experience, I've had friends lose thousands of dollars on gambling. I've had friends consider suicide due to gambling. I've had friends squander relationships and opportunities due to gambling. With Hofstra University, Nassau Community College, and Kellenberg High School in the direct area, as well as many public high schools around, a casino would legitimize this social ill and put thousands of young people at further risk of addiction. Casinos are not entertainment, nor are they a source of enrichment for communities. They are money sinkholes preying upon those around them and those addicted to gambling. If you approve this and it facilitates the casino as planned, the fallout will be ruinous and it will be on your hands. In addition, I agree with concerns raised about traffic and environmental damages to our community by this proposal. Our water is poisonous. The Hempstead Plain is vanishing. Expanding highways and throughways frequently coincides with displacing people from their homes and disrupting local businesses. Finally, the presence of gambling harms everyone near it, especially the poorest of us. Gambling is everywhere now due to online betting. We don't need it or want it in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. I have Deborah Zazo on, and is Russ Ko here? Russ, you're going to be on deck. Please, if you give your name and address. Thank you.
Good evening. I've been a resident of East Meadow for almost 50 years. My children wish to raise their families here as well as I did. I moved.
It's Deborah Zazo, right?
Deborah Zazo.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I moved 2 blocks from my family, and I think there's no argument that we must develop, Nassau County and this area. But an entertainment would be wonderful, but not a casino near schools and residential communities. Not very long ago, Mr. Wang's plans were rejected by people in this very room, but now we're looking to approve a casino. Better futures are not built on vices and addictions that lure our weakest, most vulnerable into lifelong struggles or criminal peril. I can confidently say no one would want their child to be a regular at the very casino that you're all looking to build in our community. There are many more losers than winners when you gamble on a casino. Doesn't that say something? As for the phones being gambling devices, well, maybe the casino won't be such a success. Then what? Where will the working families living here now go once the community does change? And maybe it might, maybe it won't, but that's a 50-50 shot. Anybody living here want to take that risk? Anyone supporting this project, not thinking about our valued suburban life, is not the reason why anybody stays here, not the reason why anybody has moved here. I'm hoping that our words are listened to and resonate and are acted upon. And I really thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Zazo. Thank you very much for your time. Russ, I'm going to have you go, and then on deck, is Mr. Blake still here? John Blake? Vashti Hackett? Vashti Hackett? On deck. Please, if you give your name and address. Thank you, sir.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Russ Ko of Rockaway Beach. I'm president of the South Shore Audubon Society in Freeport. I represent 1,400 member households, members and their families throughout central and southern Nassau County. South Shore Audubon is opposed to the Sands development as being too large and too damaging to the nature areas bordering the Nassau hub. I'm talking about Francis T. Purcell Preserve, the Hempstead Plains Preserve, and the East Meadowbrook Riparian Corridor. All these globally rare and imperiled ecosystems in Uniondale. Combined, they form the last remaining 100-acre tract of the once vast 40,000-acre Hempstead Plains. Up to 30 endangered, threatened, special concern, or rare species still depend on this vanishing prairie habitat in Uniondale. Whether they're plants or animals or pollinators, they are all protected by the state of New York because they are so rare. And they should be protected by all of us. Water use impacts of the Sands Casino plans, that would threaten the very survival of Nassau County's longest river, the East Meadow Brook, all its fish, aquatic plants, and animal life, and all its protected wetlands. Let's not lose all of that. Even if all the suggested mitigation strategies outlined in the FEIS are fully implemented, it's just that the large scale of the SANS plans would still significantly threaten these last remaining 100 acres of the Hempstead Plains, which lie literally right across the street from the Nassau hub. We urge the town of Hempstead and Nassau County that very careful consideration be made to help buffer the potential environmental impacts of the SANS plans on the neighboring rare ecologies of New York and Nassau County. We ask the town of Hempstead and the Nassau County Legislature to ensure that all the buffers and protections for the 100-acre Hempstead Plains are included in the final plans for redeveloping the Nassau hub. To those in the audience and those watching online, I invite you and your community organizations to become part of a growing grassroots movement for the conservancy of the Hempstead Plains in Uniondale. We ask the town of Hempstead and the Nassau County Legislature to consider spearheading a preservation and habitat improvement plan and stewardship.
That
And I'll submit the rest of my comments in writing.
You can submit the rest in writing. It's made part of the record. I promise you that right now. Thank you. Right now, I'm going to have Ms. Hackard.
Yes.
Oh, just give me 1 second. The next speaker I have that has indicated they would like to speak is Vivian Kazamir. Are you here? Okay. Scott Weissba. Great. You're going to go to the back mic there. You're on deck, Mr. Weissba. Ma'am, if you give your name and address for the record, thank you very much.
Vashti Hackett, 2205 MacArthur Street, East Meadow, New York. I don't know why I said New York. I have been a resident here for about 34 years. I'm an empty nester, raised my kids here. My kids went to Kellenberg and Hofstra and St. John's, etc. So I wasn't as involved in this situation until recently, when it occurred to me that since we seem to be divided as your constituents, we seem to be divided about this casino issue. I'm all for entertainment, employment, and food, and casinos are great. So I'm all for progress. I just am not sure and convinced that situating it here next to some of our finest educational institution in Nassau County is necessarily the right place. Hofstra is still developing and blooming as one of our finest colleges, universities in Nassau County. I've seen it grow in the STEM programs, in the law programs, in, you name it. Hofstra has been developing and still needs to develop. I don't see, when I speak to parents of younger kids, I don't see parents going, oh yeah, I'm sending my kid to Hofstra because there's a casino there. There's this sort of like black cloud that sort of ranges around that. Aside from that, I would love to know, and please please indulge me because, like I said, I came on board very late with this. Has there been a socioeconomic impact study of where casinos are located and situated in communities? And I'm not just speaking about the first 5 years of its life, but thereafter, how that affects the communities in terms of safety, in terms of economics, in terms of the school districts. We are around, all Garden City, East Meadow, Uniondale. We're around A school districts, okay? I could tell you I'm also a real estate agent as of recent. And I can tell you that people gravitate to Central Nassau because of the schools, because of the location as well, but because of the schools. So I'm saying yes to, having something there, but what about, an athletic complex like Baseball Heaven? When I was a baseball mom, a travel baseball mom, I had to schlep to Suffolk because everyone said, oh, the good travel baseball teams are in Suffolk. My son played, I was in Suffolk 5 days a week in Yaphank. Why can't we put up some good, athletic complexes and yes, have an entertainment center and have restaurants?
Thank you very, very much for your comments. I'm going to have Mr. Weissba talk in a minute, but let me line up the deck here. Is Yosuke Ariasa still here? Yes, you're going to be on deck, please. Mr. Weissba, if you give your name and address, thank you very much.
Sure. My name is Scott Weissba, and I live in Merrick throughout my whole life, growing up in Merrick. I'm also the CEO of Autisticana. So the question is, I would be interested of having something more relevant for having a job, other than a casino. We need something better than having a casino, like creating opportunities for better. Like, how about if we create something exciting for family entertainment that we can go to a go-kart place, for example. Like, how about something like Supercharged Entertainment of New Jersey, K1 Indoor Go-Kart? I'm like, it could be a large go-kart station in one portion. It doesn't have to be too expensive, but it could just be affordable, at least for everyone to enjoy. On the other note, if you enjoy nightlife and entertainment, how about add a concert that would fit up to 8,000 attendants like the Brooklyn Mirage, because most of the famous DJs have shows sold out or schedule availability. How about the flexibility? Like, some people don't want to go to New York City because of all the warehouses and unsketchy areas. Why don't we have something right here local on Long Island? Or just add a rooftop bar to see the artists of the view of the Meadowbrook Parkway and Hempstead Turnpike. We also had a mass success of when Bruce Blakeman had Steve Aoki at Eisenhower Park for the free concert last year. Let's bring an EDM concert that could fit up to 8,000 people at this specific entertainment venue. On the other note, the importance of transportation. How about the drop-off station and pickup station? Because we still have taxis in the area, like All Island Transportation, Hempstead taxis, and New York City yellow cabs that would often come to the area once in a while, especially in this day of age of ride shares. What about transportation station that we can have our nice bus and shuttle buses to find the nearest Long Island Railroad stations? Not everybody may come from Nassau County. This plan could become a reality. This way, it's easier for residents and people who want to discover the area or spend the day to discover the beauty of it. What about paths for pedestrians, bike lanes, and if they walk or ride through the property? What about the traffic patterns? Because it's always rush hour during weekday, and it could possibly happen in specific time of the day, weekends, and holidays. There's also have an idea of experiencing the amount of vehicles driving around the area, which congestion would affect in the area. It's not always a bad idea for sports arena to have at the new sports existing team. What about Mitchell Field? We haven't talked about that meeting all night. And what about real life traffic data? Like, certain time of the day it'll be quiet and most of it'll be busy. And on this part of note, we should have like an educational center in one corner of the Long Island part of the area.
Thank you, Mr. Weissba. If you'd like to supplement your comments, please submit it in writing. We'll make it part of the record, and we appreciate you coming in this evening.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Your honor.
Very nice. Yeah, nice kid. I love that kid. I have
Yocasta Ariasa.
I ruined it,
Yocasta
but hold on. I'm going to get, is Tommy Streifus still here? Tommy, you're going to be on deck. Please, ma'am, if you give your name and address. And you got to say it to me because I know I pummeled your name.
Yocasta Ariasa, 54 Brightside, Central Islip.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, Town Supervisor and Town Board. My name is Yocasta Ariasa, and I'm a member of Empowering Young Professional of Long Island, located at 220 Old Country Road, Garden City, New York. I'm here in support of the project and the rezoning of the Nassau Coliseum. These jobs represent the opportunity to keep our young talent of Long Island. The Coliseum is an empty parking lot full of broken promises. Let's make the promise a reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If Tommy Streifus is ready to go and Anthony Brancato. Anthony, you're going to be on deck, Mr. Brancato. Thank you very much. Please, sir, if you give your name and address. Thank you.
Tommy Streifus, Merrick. Okay, good evening, Town Supervisor and members of the Town Board. My name is Tommy Streifus, a local business owner in the community. Like a lot of small business owners in this county, I've been serving the community for decades through ups and downs, good times and bad times. The 72-acre site has been sitting empty for almost 30 years. Many decades of waiting with nothing to show for it. Moving forward with zoning changes and approvals is how we turn those decades of delay into real opportunity for the future of this county. As a local business owner, I see every day what economic stagnation looks like and feels like. I would feel a lot better if something went in the Coliseum instead of an empty building. The Coliseum site is one of the last chances we got for transformation growth in Nassau. Without this progress now, it'll be another generation of missed opportunity, another generation of nothing happening, another generation of watching other counties move ahead while we stay stuck. My business needs this. Providers, food suppliers, everybody in the chain, everybody in this business can only benefit from this. Thank you, and please move forward with this. Let's give Nassau County and many businesses and many employees the chance we all deserve. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have Mr. Brancato ready. Is Yolanda Grier still here? Yolanda Grier? Okay. Ray Meyer? Ray Meyer? Great, Mr. Meyer, you're going to be on deck. Thank you. Please, sir, if you give your name and address. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Anthony Brancato. I've been a 37-year resident of East Meadow. I'm also an immigrant from Queens. I came out to the suburbs because I was tired of the urban life. It looks like that might start to change. I don't know if I want to stay here anymore. But I've heard a lot of good things. Things for the casino, for rezoning, some arguments against the casino, some good, some I agree with, some I disagree with. But the one thing we could all agree on here is we want to do what's best for our families and for our communities. I've also, in my work career, I was an upper-level manager for New York City Transit. I'm familiar with large projects. I'm familiar with dealing with the communities. I also started the first managers' labor union in the country, Transit Labor's Union. So I'm familiar with all sorts of labor issues. So we all want what's best for us. We just don't agree. Okay, so if you don't agree, well, what do? I go to a meeting. Well, what's the problem? Well, what is the problem? Is it unemployment? I'm not so sure. Unemployment is 4% in Nassau County. It's one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. Who's coming here to fill these jobs? Pretty much not local people. You're going to get people from Suffolk County. You're going to get people from Queens, Brooklyn maybe, the Bronx. You're not going to get too many from Nassau County. Ask any labor leader or any CEO of any corporation, and outside of dealing with tariffs now, their biggest problem is attracting and retaining skilled labor. The casino project for 4 years, 5 years, it'll be great. There'll be plenty of people working there. Not my kids, probably, not your kids. Most of them already have good jobs. Most of them have decent paying jobs. Unfortunately, even if you make a couple $100,000, you can't afford to live there. That's a problem I think we need to address. Casino isn't going to solve that. And we're making a lot of assumptions. First of all, there's going to be 3 downstate casino contracts issued. Now, we already know the casinos in the area. Now you're going to add 3 more. So you're going to have basically the same group of gamblers. And look, Hard Rock, right? I gamble, I drink. I'm not going to say what's good or what's bad. I'm more for entertainment. But when you have the same group of people competing for the same amount of money, same dollars, because that's what it's about. So one of these projects is going to fail. I'm not saying it's going to be here, but one of them are going to fail.
Thank you, sir. You can supplement if you'd like some more. Thank you very much. Mr. Meyer, and on deck is Samuel Chu still here? Please, Mr. Chu, if you go to the back. Mr. Meyer, thank you. Good evening, and your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Ray Meyer, 85 Amherst Street, Garden City, New York. We have Supervisor Clavin, Councilmember Muscarella. We are neighbors in Garden City. We're all neighbors here in town of Hempstead. I'm here to support my neighbors. My daughter is also who I'm here to support. She'll be driving in a year's time. She'll be driving 6 days a week to Hofstra University for her club swim practice. I want her safe. I also drive about 40 minutes across from the part of Garden City that we live in just to get my daughter to practice. That's 40 minutes without this project. I drive my other daughter, who's 11 years old, an hour to Farmingdale State College for lacrosse practice for her club team. I'm all for spending plenty of money. I spend thousands of dollars for my children to grow and thrive. I want them to be safe, and I want them to have experiences that enrich their lives. Opposition to this casino is coming from residents from Garden City and Uniondale and East Meadow and Belmore and West Hempstead and Baldwin and Freeport and Merrick and yes, also Hempstead. NIMBYism is a false narrative. Garden City is using its resources and its talent to lead in this opposition. And I would hope the 2 neighbors that I have would join us, because frankly, I got off the train during election season and I spoke to one of you and I shook your hand as you were asking people to vote a party line, and I said, I would like you to vote no on the casino. And I got silence. The silence is deafening. It has been and it continues to be. So I'm going to ask you to lead. Many of us in Garden City lead successful organizations, own our own businesses, and we're fortunate to have the resources to provide for our families. I'm asking you both to do the same. There are other ideas. There's technology and trade schools. There's green space. We've had debates in town about how to use non-organics on our turf that's being overused because kids are always on the turf, which is a great problem to have. You could have Cornell down here and have a whole turf science and regreen that whole area. You could have an IMG Nike Sports Academy. There's a place in Arizona called the Athletic Grounds, the Arizona Athletic Grounds. It brings people from all over the nation. So instead of schlepping to Suffolk or to Maryland for lacrosse practices or lacrosse tournaments or Pennsylvania for soccer tournaments, they could be coming here on occasion for healthy family experiences and eating in our restaurants in our local towns and neighborhoods and spreading that wealth locally, not centrally at a for-profit casino.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. I have Mr. Chu and Daphne Baptiste. Are you still here, Daphne? Yes. Mr. Chu, great.
Good evening.
Chu.
Good evening, Samuel Chu. Edgewise Energy. My address is 43 Warman Court, Plainview, New York. I also serve as the chair of the Long Island chapter of the U.S. Green Building Council. Tonight, I am speaking in my capacity as the co-chair for the sustainability working groups for the 2 most recent proposed projects for this site. In both instances, these working groups were formed to bring together community stakeholders and sector experts to advise developers on what was most desired by the community and should be prioritized for this site. We were able to have in-depth discussions on topics ranging from water conservation and reuse to waste management. Opportunity zoning will allow for this site to provide enough value to deliver on these commitments. We have missed too many opportunities to make the most of this site. Long Island deserve to have a world-class destination to enjoy in their own backyard that will not only provide for good quality jobs, but will also allow for world-class recreation. One of the most critical challenges facing Long Island is our need to grow economically while accounting for our long-term environmental needs. This site represents one of the best opportunities Long Island has seen to do just that. Let's not miss it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chu. Ms. Baptiste, I have you ready. As Mariano Ugalde here? Hi, you're going to be up next. Please, ma'am, name and address, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Daphne, resident in Amityville. I have a business in Hempstead, a business owner in the town of Hempstead. I stand here before you today, strong support. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. I stand here with you today in a strong support of this development of the Nassau Coliseum site, which includes the possibility of a casino resort. This project represents more than just new entertainment venue. It's a beacon of opportunities for small business owners like myself. The development project is created nearly for 13,000 jobs during the full operation, along with 7,000 construction jobs. These positions span various sectors, including hospitality, maintenance, operation, offering great employment opportunities for our community. For my cleaning business, this development opens doors, secure contracts for maintaining the new facilities, thereby expand operations, providing more jobs to local residents, and its avenue economics growth that directly benefits small business owners like myself and the border communities. This project expects to generate significantly tax revenue, $563 million annually. Allocated includes $217 million for local schools, $54 million for town of Hempstead. These funds enhance the public service, infrastructures, educational problems, contributing to overall betterment of the town. I acknowledge the concern raised by some community members regarding potential negative impacts. However, the developers have committed over $150 million to infrastructure improvement, such as expanding the Meadowbrook Parkway, upgrading energy system to ease these issues. In conclusion, the development offers a transformation opportunities for Hempstead, promises economic rebirth, job creation, enhanced public services. I urge the board to consider the powerful benefits of this project, bringing our community and to support its advancement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is Allison O'Brien Silva still here? Great. Mr. O'Brien, you're going to be next. Sir, if you give your name and address, thank you.
My name is Mariano Ugalde. I am the president of the Uniondale Chamber of Commerce. I was born and raised in Great Neck. I've lived in Uniondale for over 30 years. I've been a volunteer member of the fire department in Manhasset Lakeville. I was in the military, and I'm really sick and tired of hearing from Garden City about anything, especially the insults I get from Sue over there. I'd really like to say that it's been a very long day as we go back and forth on all these issues. And I've heard a lot of comments from a lot of people from far and wide in this county, but I actually live in Uniondale. So whatever you say does not really matter to me. It's like people say and speculate about all sorts of crazy things that happen there that don't, but I live there. And I'm in favor of this project because this project lifts up the county economically. There's no other project that comes anywhere near this. Plus, the incentives to actually help out small business here are real. I don't see that in any other project proposed in years in this area. So I really would just like to say, I hope that we move forward on this and that this project is really, it's like a windfall for this county. And I don't know why I have to keep hearing from Garden City, because you couldn't find Garden City from the Coliseum with GPS. It's like, how would you even get there? I don't know what their complaints about traffic at Uniondale have anything to do with what happens in Garden City. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, Allison O'Brien Silva, and you go, please.
Good evening. My name is Allison O'Brien Silva. I live at 89 Remington Road in Manhasset. I grew up in East Meadow, in the neighborhood right across Hempstead Turnpike from Nassau Coliseum. I am one of the founding members of the Say No to the Casino Civic Association. We have been fighting this since news broke more than 2.5 years ago, and we are not going to stop until we are finished ensuring that a casino of any kind will never take root in our county. Frankly, I'm exasperated that you all are even entertaining the idea of rezoning. You campaigned on a platform to save our suburbs. Rezoning the hub to allow for a predatory gambling company to move in makes an absolute fool of anyone who voted for you. Shame on you if you vote these changes through. And why seal the fate of this taxpayer-owned land without identifying a party willing to develop it? Why yield all zoning controls before first leading a transparent, inclusive, thorough process to define a future for that land that actually benefits our community? Why are you flushing it all down the toilet? We Say No members have been at this long enough to learn a few dark lessons from this process. It has been reported that Las Vegas Sands has spent $400 million in our community and in our local elections, hoping these dollars would be enough to make it appear that there was actual support. Even after spending $400 million, Sands realized that our home is the absolute wrong location for their little project. They walked away. They know their $400 million wasn't enough to fight off actual, passionate, grassroots opposition from your constituents. We're paying enough attention to know that a casino of any kind would be a catastrophic long-term detriment to our beloved suburbs that you claim to want to keep safe. And if you want to hear those facts one more time, research has shown that when casinos move into suburban communities, a host of awful things happen. Crime goes up, property values go down, economic activity plummets, and the tax gain is a mirage because every dollar that a municipality brings in from the tax revenue, they need to spend between $3 and $12 more in extra services. Worst of all, rates of problem gambling go up, and one of the most vulnerable segments of the college students would be living and working right around there. Building on all those facts, I need to call out the utter absurdity that you are all parading through this hearing, and there is literally no one willing to build. Why rush this before naming a willing replacement for Sands? My cynical self fears that your cover story of searching for a new partner is more smoke and mirrors. Clearly, you know the dream of a casino license is all but over. Then why change the zoning to allow for gambling? I thought you all wanted a world-class resort. Is your dream really just a bunch of video lottery terminals for our senior citizens to feed their Social Security checks into? Supervisor Clavin, you are not running for re-election. Free yourself from the pressures of answering to Cairo and Blakeman and your big donors. Do the right thing for your constituents. Don't comply in advance. Walk away from a predatory gambling company and save the hub.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Thank you very much. Now that is all of the, okay, great, delighted. Those are all the slips I've received from people who wanted to speak. Is there anybody who did not sign in that wanted to speak that has not already done so? Please, if you come, go to the back mic and identify yourself, that would be great.
I signed up 3 times, but that's okay. Don, you're worth the wait, I promise.
Thanks, Jesus. If you give your name and address.
All right, Frank Camerano, closest we got, East Meadow, New York. Good evening, my name is Frank Camerano, and I proudly serve as the president of the National Council of Chambers of Commerce, representing thousands of small businesses across this county. I've been a chamber leader and a small business owner, a union supervisor, and a resident deeply invested in the future of Nassau. I've spent my life building things from fitness centers to construction sites, from electrical work to civic leadership. And I can tell you this, you don't build anything worthwhile on a weak foundation. Right now, the Nassau Coliseum site has all the potential in the world, but it's being held back by outdated zoning that no longer fits the needs or ambitions of today's Nassau County. This land isn't just sitting empty, it's sitting full of possibility. With the right zoning, we can build something that serves residents, stimulates the local economy, supports union labor, and gives small businesses the chance to grow. Our local entrepreneurs, restaurants, retailers, service providers thrive when foot traffic flows and when big ideas get built. But that only happens when we allow for development that reflects the reality of today's economy. Let's be clear. We're not here to rubber stamp any one developer's plan. This is about giving Nassau the flexibility it needs to unlock the economic power of 72 acres of prime land. It's about turning the Coliseum site into a place where families gather, businesses flourish, and workers, especially union workers, find lasting opportunity. I've managed union crews on some of the New York's most complex infrastructure projects, and from the Bell Parkway to the Alexander Hamilton Bridge, and I know what's possible when government, business, and labor come together with a common purpose. That's what we need here. Let's give our planners and community leaders the tools to build something meaningful, something that brings life back to the heart of Nassau. The time for waiting is over. The time to act is now. Let's update the zoning and finally set this site and this county on a path forward, lasting growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you very much. Ma'am, if you give your name and address for the record, thank you.
My name is Peggy Voles, and I did sign it.
Okay, Ms. Voles.
I was waiting outside before 6:30 to come through. So somehow my paperwork got lost.
Okay.
But thank you for the opportunity. My name is Peggy Voles. I'm from Garden City, New York. And I'm happy to meet Don Clavin and each of the council members and to have the opportunity to express myself. Myself and many of my neighbors from Garden City and other neighboring Hempstead town communities are outraged that our town representatives are even considering rezoning that would allow the building of a proposal for a 72-acre massive casino at the Nassau Hub. This after 51% of Nassau County residents fiercely fought these last 2 years against the Nassau County legislatures to not construct a gambling casino that would destroy our suburban life as we know it. Thankfully, the LA Sands recently walked away from building at this site. However, the threat still looms if a third-party operator were allowed to build a casino at the hub. The impact on increased pollution, crime, currently congested roadways, and further health safety concerns would be inevitable and a disaster for all residents. If rezoning were allowed and a gambling casino built, an estimated 27,000 visitors per day would be enticed to participate in gambling activities. Additional air pollution would surely add to higher asthmatic rates in several disadvantaged communities surrounding the hub as well. What about the increase in crime that studies in previous gambling casino communities are proven to have experienced? One being the financial burden placed on taxpayers to pay for the increased police manpower to try to deal with and curb the inevitable growth in robberies, prostitution, drugs, unlicensed and reckless drivers, etc. Do you have any idea the excessive volume of our pressure water reserves that will be jeopardized if a 24/7 casino plan were allowed to be built in our town? Our aquifer is already under significant stress from drought, over pumping, saltwater intrusion, and pollution. If Hempstead Town rezoning were allowed to pass, could you live with the guilt of knowing how many lives will be destroyed by you directly contributing to inevitable gambling addictions?
Thank you, Ms. Voles. You can supplement your writing. Again, I want to also say to you, your name wasn't on the slip, so I apologize it's not here, but I'm delighted you stayed to testify. I don't have any other slips. Is there anybody else wishes to be heard that did not speak at this time? Mr. Town Attorney, this has been a rather long process from this afternoon to this evening. Do you have any recommendations?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, I'd ask for a motion that the town board continue the public hearing of the proposed enactment of this zone until June 10th at 10:30, and that written submissions will be accepted through that date.
Okay, so just to better explain it to the, just to better explain it to the audience, we're continuing the hearing. That means it'll be open for comment, and they can come back or submit in writing in that. There is no decision being made here tonight, is that correct?
There is no decision being made today, and if anyone who has not spoken at these two hearings would like to come on the 10th at 10:30, we'll take their public comment. Anyone can submit written comment prior to that day.
And is it also fair to make the representation at that time? You will then ask for a comment from the attorney that made the application?
I've already spoken to the applicant's attorney, and at that time, he will be responding to some of the comments made by the people
great.
who have.
All right, then can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Oh, no, you got to make the motion, please.
The motion you just said.
No, you make the motion on the record. You make the motion, all right.
I make the motion
No, yeah, we'll give you listen, please, we've gone through this process many times, and trust me, people know the email address. I'll be delighted to give it to you after. We have a motion being made.
I make the motion that we continue the public hearing on June 10th at 10:30 a.m. here at the Hempstead Town Hall, 1 Washington Street, to allow written comments to be received until that time.
All right, can I get a second on that?
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby. Councilwoman Miller. Councilman Mascarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, all right, so we will, Brian Devine, why don't you nicely after the meeting give the residents there the email address to submit any other comments? Would you promise to do that for these nice residents? You know your email address or the email address that this will be made part of the record. Fair enough? I'm putting you on the spot. Make sure you say yes to everybody. Thank you very much. So thank you all for coming out. And again, get home safe, but more importantly, you heard the town attorney when he said any other comments can and will be received and submitted and made part of the record through June 10th, 2025.
Good job.